So, an unscheduled live. Myself and my dumb magic 8 ball are having an unscheduled live. If you don't know who I am, I'm Suzanne Tidkemeyer. I wrote for Pathos for nearly 10 years, a column called No Longer Quivering that involved quiverful and evangelical fundamentalist type religions. Okay, if you would do the UTV things, hit like, subscribe, that would be great. These are just my opinions. Don't bully anybody I'm talking about here for any reason at all. Hey, Sue Elliott. And don't be rude. Most y'all aren't, so it's not a problem. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about something that's been going on in my life and how it relates to things that are going on online. I've been struggling for months with somebody that claims to be a friend of mine in real life here. And it's somebody that I'm having, hey, Karma Kid, I have less and less contact with all the time. Unfortunately, this car deal, my car dying in Arenal, like 2.5 months ago, maybe, has thrown this person back into my life hard. And it's been a difficult thing for me because I can see this person is playing games. What do I mean by that? Well, my husband told me, and she talks to him a lot more. Said, "Oh, I'm going to call her Cindy. Cindy said she'd lend you her car. Cindy said she'd lend you one of her cars because she's got a pile of them if you come back before me." Well, I did want to get back a week or so before my husband so that I could clean the house and clean out the closets. So I'm thinking, this doesn't sound like Cindy at all. But okay, so I booked my ticket. I came back early. Cindy fetched me at the airport. I paid to fill up her car. I paid for all of her crap at Costco here. Yeah, dinner's ready. And we left it at that. We talked about her. She immediately said to me, she says, "I cannot lend you one of my 10 cars. I just can't do it. So and so has to go here, and I need this car for whatever, so I can't lend you a car." And I thought, yeah, girl. Yeah, game player. I knew you would pull this nonsense once I got here. So I had already talked to somebody at the rental place about possibly renting. So she says, "Well, I'll lend you my car so you can go get your husband in a week." I'm 3 blocks from the grocery store. I had picked up everything I need from Costco anyway. This is not optimal, but I can deal with it. Okay. A couple days in, I found out I had to run and pay a bill at the grocery store, and I had to run to the doctor's office for a CT scan. So I PM this woman I don't really care much for. She's very religious, and said, "Hey, can you run me to the doctor's office? Can you run me to run these errands, please?" She showed up, and she in an old rattletrap car that was just dusty and just stunk. Okay. And so I'm having asthma in her car on my way to the doctor's office. Think about that one for a minute. And she's playing in the rain. Yes. So she tells me, "This is a car I'll lend you to pick up Jim on Wednesday." And I said, "I think I'm going to rent a car, but thank you anyway." So she kept insisting, and I didn't say yes because there was no air conditioning in the car. And while I know I bitched hellaciously about how air conditioned everything is in the United States, this time of the year, the realism is that you have to sometimes run your air conditioner. I've been running the ones in the house off and on for days, getting all the dampness out because that does affect my asthma. So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe never I'm taking your car. So I go on to run my errands. I come home, pull out my nebulizer, take my treatments, whatever. So talking to my husband about him coming back, and I'm saying, "Hey, I think I'm going to try to rent a car from so-and-so, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Yeah, that would be good. That would give us a car to run around and go to the new car dealerships and see what's what in stock to buy a car." So I went to rent a car yesterday and discovered that they doubled the prices in a week, which happens sometimes. So it was like, ooh, no, I'm not renting a car. So I called up Cindy and said, I may have to borrow your car afterwards to go pick up Jim at the airport. I'm thinking this is not something I want to do, but I may have to bite the bullet and met up and use their car. So she says, oh, all my cars are in the shop now. They're all in the shop. They're all messed up. Okay. So I thought this is typical game playing by her because we're close to my husband coming home. So long story short, I had to run around and I had to figure out what to do about my husband. And basically what I ended up doing was I booked him on this place called Place in the range. We could do that. It would take up to 6 months. I'm not willing to do that. It takes a long time to ship a car over here and get it through customs. It could happen, but it's just, maybe it's a second car. So I booked him on a transfers and tours company I know here, and it's only like $20 from the airport here. It's very reasonable. I talked to the people at the transfer company and said, can you drop him at the subdivision gates? Because it's right there off of the main drag. And they even agreed to that. So I was going, after spending all yesterday afternoon panicking and trying to figure out what I was going to do and calling and running around and various things. So this morning, I get a message from her where she says, oh, my so-and-so car started this morning, so you can use it tomorrow if you want. So I recognize what this is. This is somebody that is playing games. I'm not sure if they even realize they're playing games or if this is just something they're doing because they're having a hard time. This is somebody who's been having a hard time with life, and I think she's a game player. I've come to that conclusion because of all the running around and stuff. Well, earlier with the internet, I saw some very similar type behavior going on. Now, everybody knows that Alice and Porkchop hate each other and they're in a death grip, okay? Through like the last month or so, I've just started blocking people who are too fighty and bitey because I have enough going on in my real life. I don't really need to be pushed into anybody else's drama for any reason whatsoever. Life is short. I just want to talk about crocheting and all kinds of weird stuff. I don't want to have to cover every day drama and try to walk on eggshells. I'm sorry. Walk on eggshells because I'm afraid somebody is going to be offended. Hey, bossy. So, because I'm afraid somebody's going to be worried or upset with me or any of that. So I did start blocking and just staying out of it. And then this morning, I saw that somebody that I used to respect said some really nasty things about somebody else. This is somebody I did follow, and I no longer follow because she did this to me, and she's done this to others. I guess if you're watching, you know by now I'm talking about Erin. EKC people suck. No, I like Erin. But Erin is absolutely in the wrong in what she said this morning and was attacking Clarissa and various people and calling people out. Ah, bossy. Hey, Herbie's mom. The thing that is disturbing to me about it, and I tried to have a conversation with her about it and said, look, do you not understand that the words you say sometimes hurt people? People find things like that extremely hurtful. I mean, I was hurt when Roadhog was attacking me and calling me the C word and other things. And then she turned around and said that I shouldn't be offended by the C word because if you're a true feminist, you have to expect that men and women are to be treated the same. And if you cuss out men, you can cuss out women, and it's a feminist thing. No, egalitarian thing. No. It is not. It is entirely possible to be a feminist and to object to being called nasty names by men. Men do this to belittle you, and it has not a damn thing to do with feminism, having equal rights between men and women. None of that. It's nasty people just do nasty things all the time. But on the other hand, you have to actually kind of hold some of these things loosely, as in you don't take offense at a lot of things. That was the only thing I carried out of my old church. One of the few things that has benefited me is not taking offense at a lot of crap. And I mean, even stuff like I saw how everybody turned on Mrs. Roadhog suddenly because of the fake baby thing. Well, she has never been nasty to me, so I'm not holding that against her. It was wrong. I think she knows it was wrong. But I guess, hey, Christopher, I guess the point I'm trying to make, and I'm making this point to Aaron too. Everybody screws up. Everybody says stupid stuff. Everybody does shitty things sometimes. And sometimes we offend each other. I think the difference needs to be, and some people apologize and some people don't. There have been times when I have had to. It is a big deal, Christoph, but at the same time, it's her big deal. Because of the fact that some of the things that were going down, it was pretty obvious to me that there was some abuse at play in that relationship. I'm not willing to entirely cut her off and describe her as awful, 100% awful, because of some of the abusive things I saw going on. Is it wrong? Hell yeah, it's wrong. And if you don't hold that against her, you could do that. Yeah. And I understand that fully. I mean, we all do these things, stupid things. And that one was a stupid thing that went way, 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 way out there. Now, will she try that again? If she does, then yeah, I will block her. But right now, she seems to be just living her life. And I can't hate on that. But back to the Erin thing. I like Erin, but I wish she would apologize for what she said because it was wrong. Now she's issuing a challenge for anybody who wants to jump out there and fight her on a stream about it. Girl, please. People would have to care more strongly about it. The troll that shall not be named never went that far. Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. I don't pay them any attention. Christoph, man, that is probably the smartest thing to do. I only pay scant attention now, and only to her because I worry for her. Fake baby or not, I still worry for that poor girl. Well, I shouldn't say poor girl. I still worry for that lady. Let's just put it that way. It's the social worker in me that does that. That is like, Anyway, so I'm calling for Erin to apologize and to realize she does hurt people sometimes. You guys know I've had to take a humble and apologize for a number of things. And there are times when I'm going to say insensitive things, like the time I said that $100,000 really wasn't a lot of money, and was realized later it is in some place like Mississippi or Louisiana. It's a lot of money. In Northern Virginia, it's enough to get you a one-bedroom apartment. That's about all. So what I was going to say, my point with all of this is, you have to choose what's important enough about to be offended by. The only thing I'm really offended about right now, besides KJ, is the person that lives down the street that's been playing this game with me. Well, let me say this, trying to play this game with me. Trying to. She doesn't realize I'm a survivor. Unlike her, I have multiple resources, including picking up the phone and going, hey, transfers and tours, can you take my husband from the airport? We don't know what pressure is being applied to someone to do something they know is wrong. I keep thinking husbands or friends push people. Dinner's ready. I keep circling around back to that with Mrs. Hogg. I keep circling back to that at all. Neighbor wars. Yeah, neighborhood wars. Well, the neighbor is messing, and the neighbor is somebody that I've known a long time. She's about a half mile down the road. And for the past 2 years, she has tried to put increasing pressure on my husband, especially, to help her out and to do things for her because she's alone. And I'm beginning to lose all sympathy. Let's just put it that way. This last group of games, oh yeah, she does have a control issues. I will say that most definitely. This last group of games has pushed me to gray rock her. So that was the second piece of advice I wanted to give. I think that when we deal with these people and these things, it's better sometimes just to gray rock them or not take the bait or any of that. I mean, even the thing with Aaron today, don't take the bait. Aaron, I think, needs to apologize, but at the same time, a lot of us still like her. Dinner's ready. That's what I think. I've come to that conclusion. She's trying to steal my husband or turn him against me. Yeah, I think so. Dinner's ready. I really do. This is EKC Aaron, people suck, that I'm talking about, who went after, I think it was Clarissa this morning, and said some things that weren't very appropriate. And then people called her on it and said, including myself, and said, hey, you maybe not want to say that. You may want to apologize because you don't seem to realize that your words hurt people. And I don't know about you, but I really don't want to hurt anybody. So occasionally you got to apologize. I mean, I've had to do it. God knows. God knows. Clarissa is good, people. So the attack was, and the thing is, very few people in the community seem to realize that in this pork chop Alice feud, it's possible not to be drug in. It's possible not to fight with any of them. I've blocked anybody who's all nasty, fighty, bitey now, and either blocked or unfriended them, or I'm not linked with them. But if they come around, I'm not going to be ugly to them. I'm just going to ignore the bad part. I'm just going to, because that's just how I am. I don't want to, life is too short to be doing all this fighting. And I have to end with we have to talk about that troll and her coverage of this whole Marvon Mcrae thing. I fully don't understand how Alice has gotten this much power. I don't either, Christoph. And none of this makes any sense for me at all. That's why I stepped away from it. Erin talks in circles to try and turn people. She should be a lawyer. She likes to argue. No offense, just an observation. Dennis Reddy, yeah, she'll admit she likes to argue. And I think she sometimes throws bombs out for that reason. Bossy, yes, it's called mental health. You're right. That's why I unfriend sometimes and why I block people. I don't stop following people because I enjoy my mental health. I like to be as healthy as possible. I don't understand how anybody's gotten this much power and how we've somehow split into two factions in this community. I'm not interested in groups, on games. I'm definitely not interested in playing these games with anybody, but I am probably going to keep calling people out when they do dumb shit until they apologize, because as human beings, we're all worthy of respect and to be treated respectfully, even that troll. So the troll is covering this Marvon Mcrae thing, and I'm watching how she's covering it, and she's accusing the wife of murdering him with no evidence whatsoever. It's a tragic story, and from what I understand, he was injured in an accident and is now potentially brain dead in the hospital, and the wife will not let the mother or the family see him. There are a lot of hinky, weird things going on, and the wife is definitely attempted to be a social media influencer. I don't know how successful she's been. I've only started reading some of this I only started looking at this. And then when I started researching it all, the wife seems like a pretty awful person. I'm just going to throw that out there. Another game player, but not a murderer. I was literally Googling the Mcrae thing while shoving my curly fries and saw on Reddit. Someone said she's a Jehovah's Witness, something about yeah, and she's a Jehovah's Witness. She seems to have, and I feel kind of hypocritical calling this that. She seems to have a focus on using herbal medicine to cure people of various things. And that's not totally wrong. Our medicines came from herbs. I gotta tell you, every time I get a sinus infection, which in this kind of weather is frequently, I resort to this garlic instead of antibiotics because I can take this and kill it just as easy as antibiotics without all the nasty side effects of antibiotics. So I practice a little bit of that myself, but I have sense enough to know when you need real medicine. If the troll knows facts, I encourage the troll to contact authorities and share. Exactly, dinner's ready. I think what's happened with her is she's made so many leaps of logic over the years that this is just where she goes with all of this, which kind of blows my mind because this lady, Mcrae, is dealing with an awful situation. She may or may not be an awful person, but she's dealing with an awful no-win situation. They're not going to let her brain dead husband languish forever on care. And I wanted to say also that brain injuries are really no fun to recover from. I've had 2 strokes. I have friends and family who've also had the same number and the same kind of strokes I've had in 2 years who haven't recovered as well as I have. And I feel like I haven't recovered where I need to be. I feel very frail most of the time. But my doctors are saying, "Oh, you're fabulous." And I'm watching friends and family. I mean, it was a big shocker when I went back to the States this year and I saw a few people who are suffering from that, who haven't recovered as well. And I'm not trying to brag on that because, like I said, I feel like dirt many days, including today, and I got to go finish cleaning the fridge in a few. The thing with healing, the thing with brain injuries, a mild brain injury will cause you a 6-month to 1 year window that it takes you to feel normal again and to recover. Something serious, it can be a long time. My father had a stroke and died when he was 61 years old, and his mother died of a stroke at the same age. And I had to make the awful decision to unplug life support, which is why I don't want to throw stones at this lady, this Mcrae lady, because she may not, in her own mind, be in the place where she can emotionally handle the idea that he's not coming back. That all it's going to take is a few herbs to bring him back. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they let her go to voicemail every time because she's just making things worse. And that's one of the things I don't like about her quote reporting is she inserts herself and makes everything worse. I think that, and we should let law enforcement do their job and investigate these accidents and just give this poor woman some space. She's going to have to deal with an awful thing. They're not going to let her husband languish forever, brain dead on life support. It just doesn't work that way. Eventually, usually pretty quickly, within a week to 2 weeks to a month, the organs start shutting down and ain't nothing can be done from that point. So she's facing an unbelievable tragedy. And it irks me that various people are making bank off of this. Too many drunken phone calls. Yep. So it's an awful situation. I don't know why she's inserting herself in an awful situation. And it goes back to the whole thing about game playing. I have no patience for game players whatsoever. I never have. I have less now than I ever have before. And I think it's because I'm older and have things I'm dealing with. Like being able to walk to the bathroom without being accused of being drunk in Costa Rica if I don't have my cane with me. Stupid stuff. Life's too short to let any of these people bug you. And dinner's ready. You were right. That woman is after my husband. I know it. I said something to him about it because I think it was about 3 months ago, maybe 4. I saw her try to flirt with him. She had no idea it was on the other side of the window. And I saw and heard her through vegetation. And my poor husband, he is such an innocent. He didn't realize that was going on. He just thought she was being nice. So I'm gonna have to put my foot down here when he gets back and we get our car, and we are gonna be having a lot less to do with her. Supposedly she might be moving back to the States. I hope that's the case, but I know I know that she's probably going to try more crap. I'm just going to keep gray rocking her, cut her off, say, yes, I'm fine. How are you? And just be nice and pleasant, but completely disengaged, if that makes any sense to you. The troll couldn't care less about this man. She only cares about the clicks and money. Plays in the Rain, that's exactly what's going on with her and the Marvin Mcrae situation. And she's exploiting the fact that that her kid's name is the same as a nickname version of this guy's name. So she's making it a Justice for Vaughn thing and putting all those Justice for Vaughn things up. And it's pretty obvious that, like the Gabby Petito thing, that this is all about making the money. You know, I didn't speak much of anything about the Gabby Petito thing because of the fact that um, the little girl really reminded me of my youngest child in so many different ways. And I was just praying that they would find her happy, healthy, and alive. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. She reminds me of so many young girls I know in that age who are struggling with relationships and are being abused in various things. The wife seems to act more like a Christian Scientist to me. Lola, that could be, but she's somehow got her religion twisted up with the herbal men, with everything else, and it's not benefiting this man. She's going to have to come to the place where she can sign the paperwork to let them do their thing, or else watch him slowly die as his organs shut down. When I had to do that for my father, I had aunts that were angry with me for months afterwards, who called me a ghoul for doing it, and then a ghoul for sitting in the room with my father as he lay dying, holding his hand and talking to him. I encourage any of you, if you ever have a circumstance like that, and you have a dying relative that loves you and you love, to go spend those final moments with them, because it does seem to make a difference. It makes a huge difference. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go. I've ranted too much as it is. And I know I'm probably going to be the subject of a bunch of videos for doing this. And I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to say what comes to mind, unfortunately. And sometimes I'm looking at this stuff going, this is so petty. It's stupid. Yeah, have a great day. It's rainy and nasty here, and I got to go clean the fridge. Go figure. My husband's about to get home, so I need to make sure the house is a little bit cleaner than it is now. And it's clean. It's pretty clean, but okay. Love you guys. Great day.